I'm attorney Darren Miller, and today we're going to answer legal questions that you've been wanting answers to. So let's dive right in. Okay, got it. What up, man? Okay, let's do this. Okay, what's my question? One of the most important things you've got to establish from the beginning of your relationship with a client is how are you going to get paid? And I do it by charging a contingency fee. What does a contingency fee mean? That means that I only get paid if the client gets paid. I'm not asking them for a retainer. I'm not asking them for money up front. I'm not asking for money by the hour. So the only way I get paid on a case is if I get money for my client. So I am highly incentivized to make sure that my client gets as much money as they're entitled to. First and foremost, when you get involved in an accident, seek medical attention. Make sure that you take care of that first. That's the first thing you worry about. I know you're going to be interested with regards to your property damage or getting witness statements, all those types of things, but make sure that physically you're okay. Make sure you don't need to call an ambulance or get to the hospital immediately before you start addressing those other details. Okay, that's first and foremost. Secondly, you need to get the police involved. I always recommend to clients, get an objective third party, a police officer, to come and write a report with regards to what they believe happened. Because I don't care what interaction you have with that person that hit you or caused the accident, many times after that, they're gonna change their story. They're gonna deny something has happened. They're gonna say it's your fault, not mine. So it's always good to have an independent third party, the police officer, who writes a report. It summarizes what they believe happened as related to an accident. Third, make sure you get as many witness statements and pictures and evidence as you possibly can. Okay? If you've got other third parties, people that witnessed the accident, who saw something, who can give their information or give a statement to those police officers, or who can testify maybe later on with regards to what they saw, who was at fault, or can give information to assist in the prosecution of your case, get as much information as you can. And make sure you're taking lots of pictures, taking notes, getting phone numbers with regards to all the surroundings in case you have to leave the area or for later on when you're investigating and putting your case together. It needs to take as long as it needs to take to get you to the result that you want to have. You have to keep this in mind when you're dealing with the insurance company. What the insurance company wants to do is figure out what's the smallest amount of money I can put on the table and get you to sign off on that release. The smallest amount of money. They are not incentivized to give you a large amount or to be fair. So don't get mistaken that the insurance company is on your side. They are not. What I tell most folks is make sure you take the time to get proper treatment, to get information with regards to your damages, to get evidence to justify those damages so you can put a nice case together. That typically takes time. Many times you're in the doctor's care for several months. How long does it take to get those records together, to put together the type of demand that you need to show the insurance company that they have real liability and they need to offer you real money to get the case resolved? Typically speaking, it probably takes between 6 and 14 months on average to get to the right result that you're looking for. One thing you should absolutely avoid doing in a serious injury accident case is having much contact with the insurance company. They are not there to help you. They are looking for anything that you say to justify reasons not to pay you. They're going to use the information that you tell them against you. They're going to get your medical records to justify things to show why they should not pay. They are not your friends. They are not your allies. They're there to work against you. You need to understand that as the premise of your relationship with the insurance carrier. And one thing you should absolutely do if you've got a serious case and you're looking for the right result, and I know many of you are not going to like this, but it's the truth. You need to hire an attorney. Why? Because an attorney is going to help you figure out exactly where your strengths are in your case, your weaknesses. Let you know about the different types of damages that you need to put together. While I know it's difficult to part with a portion of your case in terms of paying the attorney for their work, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get to a better result. The clients that we've worked with through the years typically walk away with about 3.5 to 5 times as much money because they've hired us as their counsel in dealing with their injury accidents. To have a valid claim, you have to have damages, and significant damages. It has to be worth everyone's time to get involved in a particular accident and situation. Secondly, you've got to have a defendant that has the ability to pay you. If some bum off the street has given you a significant head injury, for example, who's going to pay you for those damages? So you need to have a defendant that has resources, money, assets to go after to compensate you for your damages. Typically speaking, if there's not an insurance company involved or someone who has high net worth, I am not going to get involved in that particular case. And the other thing that is absolutely significant in a case of this nature is negligence. What did the other person do wrong? I ask that question every time for the last 24 years. What did the other person do wrong? I always ask a client when I'm interviewing them and deciding to take on a new matter, tell me what the other person did wrong, right? I want to understand what their legal theory is, so to make sure that it meets the standard of negligence that we can put on the other party, such that if we do need to go to trial and put it before a jury, I can explain that to them and get the client the damages that they're looking for. It is very unlikely that your case, as good or as weak as it might be, is going to go to trial. Okay? 99.9% of cases typically do not get to the trial stage. Probably of 100 cases that I bring into the firm, I'm going to probably say about 10 of them will file a lawsuit on. Okay? Of those 10 that we actually file a lawsuit on, we do discovery, we move it forward, we ask questions, and as we get this information through the discovery process, we point out their weaknesses, they point out some of our issues, and the case gets resolved before it actually goes to trial. It's going to be one case, in my office at least, one case probably out of 1,000 that actually sees a courtroom and a trial. We signed a case where a young lady, 20-year-old lady, was going to go to the red box, and a young lady in her Suburban was not paying attention, tried to put the car in park and wasn't paying attention, and she hit our client, pinned them to the red box machine, and caused catastrophic injuries to my client. So in this situation, of course, we sued the young lady who was driving the car because my client did have catastrophic injuries, but we also went after Walgreens. Why did we do that? Because there were other incidents of this happening throughout the country, at least 4 other incidents where this had happened. And they were on notice that this type of thing was going on, and all they needed to do was strategically place these machines in a safe area or put cones up to where clients would not be injured, and they failed to do this on repeated occasions. So we went after Walgreens and the premises for the damages as related to this. We settled for a whole bunch of money, and as a result, you'll see when you go to these machines at most of the locations now, they're put in strategically safer locations, and people are not getting the types of injuries that they were getting beforehand, and we had a hand in dealing with that issue and making it safer for society. Okay, so hopefully you learned something from some of those legal questions, but what do you want to hear about? What should we talk about next? Please give your comments, share, like, and subscribe, tell your friends about what we're doing, and let's go from there. I'm attorney Darren Miller, and you know what it is, DLAW. You know, I met Darren when he was at West Memorial Junior High, and he had just moved here from New York. And he was walking around and he was lost trying to find his place. And, excuse me, mate, can you help me find an English department? And he's like, you had the English accent and everything else. And it was, and then he says, the thing that broke my heart and made me feel like shit. It was 1980.
Yikes.
1980.
Oh.
44 years?
Damn.